Alright guys, so this is the Fredericksburg September USPSA match. I'm going to try and do this again, hopefully using YouTube for scrubbing, and using the NVIDIA Shadow Play will help record better as opposed to me using Windows Movie Maker. So let's give this a shot. So this is stage 1.
Are you ready? Stand by.
First array is good. Didn't like that second part coming in. The transition itself wasn't bad, but I did have a weird bobble with my feet because in my stage plan I planned to take one big step, and I need to stop doing that because I never end up actually successfully doing that, and I end up having to shuffle. So it was better just to plan to take a couple steps and come in more aggressively as opposed to a ginger one big step. And that exit there was pretty slow. So you can see it was, crank the speed down a little bit. So there's the shot. And then I kind of like hop around and I look at the target a little bit, so that's an error on my end. I peeped the target, which is something you should never do, and I still have a bad habit of it I've had since for the last year. So I was talking to Tilly about this, and he said if you want to get out of that position quickly, you really have to drive your hips as opposed to kind of moving your head and bobbling your whole body. So we'll watch that one more time at half speed. So you can see my head went first, and my body followed. But according to Tilly, I should have driven hard with my hips to the side to get out of that position, as opposed to doing that weird little hoppy drop step thing. Let's go back to full speed. That's fine. Didn't like that entrance that much. This is bad. This is an error on my end for stage planning. There's, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a target that's partially covered by a no-shoot over there. And it was mostly just a headshot with about an eighth of the A zone available with a slanted no-shoot in front of it. So I aimed for the head. Safer for me, I think, shooting major and staying far away from the no-shoot without risk of a delta. I got an Alpha Bravo on that target, I think, but I wasted about 2 seconds just getting out of that position, or getting in and getting out. So let's look at the time. Oh shit. My bad. Alright, let's look. Yeah, that was almost 3 seconds. Next part, reload's fine. First shot I almost missed on that target while coming in the move. If you can actually see the impact, right there, came in high on the right there on the delta. So it was basically a lucky miss. I didn't call my shot. I just kind of got the gun up after the reload and hit the target hard on the first shot, so that was a mistake on my end, but I ended up being lucky. A little slow in that entrance. That's okay. So that was fine. So there was a target, that target here on the left, that was the one I leaned out on. The mirrored version was on the left side that I wasted a good amount of time hitting. So I think in hindsight what I should have done was right here at this middle array, I would have shot that target, shot the steel, and then while exiting I would have taken a little bit of a pause to shoot that target on the left over there. But overall I think I was 4th on this stage for limited for the match, behind a couple masters and an A-class shooter, I think, so not too bad. But I definitely could have saved a lot of time.
If you're finished.
Alright, stage 2 is Roscoe Rattle. Nothing to see here, really. It's just rebuild drills.
Stand by.
I will say that was all alphas. I didn't drop a single point on this classifier. I ended up shooting an 89% on it, and I think I could have gotten a little higher if I was willing to drop points, saving a little bit of time, because I think at this point on this classifier, its splits and reloads matter more than others. But if you look here, I did make one mistake, and I lost about maybe 2 or 3/10 of a second on this. So if you see on the reload, put it at half speed. I reloaded and I overswung and I lost time right there because I ended up being on the right side. So that was an error on my end.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Alright, so this next stage, it was a weird stage. I had to shoot that target on the right first. I couldn't enter on it coming in, sweeping from the left through the middle and then to that target because it would have broken 180. So I think that's a stage design error, or a stage setup error more so. But let's see that again for a better look at how I messed up. Alright, draw's fine. Came in on the target hard, that's fine. This part I didn't like. I ended up shuffling in the middle. I overstepped. I should have come in right here instead of right here. So a couple feet caused me to gain about half a second just trying to find the target behind the port. Overall okay though. I could have shot it probably a little bit more aggressively. Alright, next stage. Go to the target. So I did a lot of shooting on the move on this one, almost entirely on the move, except the beginning and the end. Okay, let's start from the beginning on that one. So, draw's fine. Didn't like that. So if we'll go half speed, I should have started moving the moment I started shooting this target, because what I did was I shot the headshot, shot the far target, shot the close target, and then crept up as I shot the close target into a target here behind the no shoot that you couldn't see from the start position. So let's look.
Stand.
Alright, so draw. That's fine, that was 2 alpha. I should have started moving the moment I took that first shot there. That's fine. Transition was onto a half no-shoot target there. So this was fine. I maybe could have shot this a little bit more aggressively. I didn't drop any points on that part. I think I maybe dropped 1 point. Not sure, but it was pretty clean. This part was all alphas too, I believe. So I entered on the tuxedo there. So we'll watch that at full speed again. But I entered on that tuxedo, and that was a mistake. Because my logic was shoot what you see first, but by the time I finished shooting the targets on the right, I was already had these 2 available, as opposed to the tux, and I would have been able to come in more aggressively on that entrance and shoot that shoot the 2 open targets, and then shoot the 2 mini poppers and shot the tux. All right, next stage.
Stand by.
Makeup shot right there. Overall, that was fine otherwise. So that setup took a little bit. I think I gained a little bit of time on that coming in. But given it is a tux and it was on a, we had a few close calls in the 180, so I was playing it safe, having just DQ'd from Area 8 the week before. So let's watch that in half speed. Probably could have gotten the gun up a little bit sooner. I would have had less time in the setup. Alright, back to full. Reload was good. Alright, so in this, that wasn't my plan. I ended up going to that position because that's what I wanted to do instinctively. What I should have done was, if you guys can see, try and find a place. There's a port there that you could have shot all the targets from but you had to be particular with your footing. Coming up the reload, I just decided to just said, what the hell, and came in aggressively on that target. That was a mistake on my end again, just a brain fart.
Stand by.
So we'll watch that again. I think I could have saved a little bit of time doing that instead of going all the way to the end position. Alright, reload's good. Again, it was nice about shooting through the window back there. Shooting through the window over here was you could have shot that first target all the way on the right side on the move coming in, and then shot the next target, and then while you're setting up for those tuxedos you could have been just shooting the entire time. So I lost maybe a second and a half just going all the way to that position plus the setup. My mistake, but I got clean hits. I didn't have any major fuck ups otherwise. Alright, so let's go to the next stage. This is a turn and draw, and I actually had to DQ someone right before, so I was pretty careful with that draw and really conservative. Slow transition on those two first ones. Alright, so let's go to the first part. Let's see. Alright, so slow transition, and then we'll see right here. I kept the gun high, which was good, and I stayed high in movement. I didn't have to force myself upright or anything like that. And on these two, I stayed up high because in my walkthrough, this target was sitting at about, the alpha was at almost 6 feet. So I wanted to stay high. That didn't have to get into weird I didn't have to stay low and ended up aiming too high or anything. I could aim at pretty much eye level otherwise. So I think that was a good idea on my end, and it went fine. Let's see. Alright, so I think that drop set probably cost me a little bit of time, but I do prefer it to leaning out. I would normally lean out on a target. If this was an open target, I would have been on the fault line and I would have leaned out and just thrown myself forward. But since it had a no shoot, didn't want to take that risk. I'm a decently conservative shooter, so I don't like chancing myself on no shoots or anything like that, or anything that could penalize me when in turn I could just drop step and still get out of position pretty quick, as opposed to leaning out of position and having an uncontrolled fall and risking that second shot. So I could have gotten the gun up a little bit sooner. I wish I had my sight picture acquired. You can see as I'm entering the fault lines, I'm already starting to get my gun up, which is good, but I could have gotten it up sooner. I should have kept two hands on the gun, kept the gun high. That way I could have come in hard on that target at, with as soon as my foot steps right into the fault line. A few steps there that wasted me. A footing error here that caused me to lean out, because I stepped there and all I had was the Charlie, so I took the 2 Charlie shots instead of shuffling further back. I should have come around here, which is what I did in my walkthrough, but I'm really bad with getting the precise executions down. I do a lot of shuffling, just because my brain always just says go, 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 and I couldn't, and I can't always remember exactly where to put my foot, so that's something to work on in practice. But it's 2, and then I spent a little bit of time getting out of the lean, but then I came into that target good. I shot it on the move, and I started setting up immediately into this target. So I think that's good. Probably could have transitioned a little bit more aggressively given these are open targets, but it's neither here nor there. Alright, so in this stage you'll see there was actually an activator that's considered no penalty mic. I shot this stage a little bit differently from everyone else, in that I didn't take a shot at all on this target, but I think maybe I could have in hindsight. No way to find out anymore. But it's pretty open stage, so you got 3 targets here on the right, and you got 3 targets on the left, and then you'd run forward, and then there's this middle portion here, where my mouse is, that you could shoot a mini popper, the activator, which is the big popper here, the 2 targets, and the drop turner. I chose a little bit of stage plan. You'll see differently. Most people shot all those targets from that middle section. I completely eliminated that section, and I think I saved about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, just by just by running through it and taking a riskier shot. But if I haven't made the first shot on that activator from the last position, I would have wasted a lot more time. So we'll see it.
Fucking nasty. Yeah, work those transitions. Count those shit.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Alright, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Shot down the middle, that's good. Yeah, so from that last position on that barrel where I shot that where I shot the activator, I only had about 3 inches of calibrations in to shoot at, so it was a risky shot, but I went ahead and said, what the hell? It's already thunderstorming, why not just get this over with and just take the shot? So, let's see that again. See, I think I would have had enough time. I could have shot this target, shot the drop turn, and then gone back to that target, and I wouldn't have added really any time to my score. Maybe 0.5 seconds, if anything, and I would have had 10 more points. So, now that I think about it, I probably would have taken the shot, all from that position, of course. Didn't want to waste time getting sucked in the middle, and I think I still would have had about a 16-second run. But I guess live and learn.